Hey now, we're live, if you can believe it, or even if you can't. Welcome to the stream, everybody. I've got Matt with me, and I've got Laurel with me. We're going to do proper introductions in a moment, but there's a few things I want to handle first. First, I need to bring up the YouTube channel and bring up the script here. There we are. Okay, I can see us. We're moving, we're shaking, we're rock and rolling. Sweet. I'm not going to be able to see the chat throughout a lot of this, so the moderators are going to have to be keeping an eye on things. But I'm going to put the playbill link in both chats. First, we'll start with Twitch, virtual. Okay. And we'll pin that. That's pinned. Okay. And now I'm going to...
Do you think your audience wants to know what a playbill is? I mean, why?
I'm going to assume they know what a playbill is. Oh, you know what? I'm going to hide the on-screen chat because I'm going to need to put images and stuff above that. So the chat won't be on the screen today. If I could just find my chat box so I could hide it. Is the alert box? Oh, there it is. No, that's not quite it. Oh, darn. Here it is. We'll just make that invisible for today. It's going to be exciting. We are going to be doing our play. And we put a lot of work into this. You guys don't even know. Laurel's even going to be doing costume changes. It's going to be fun. Let me put the virtual playbill link into the YouTube side as well. And you know what, Matt? If anybody doesn't know what a playbill is, once they click on it, they'll understand what it is right away.
All right. Plays are becoming very old-fashioned.
Well, they were old-fashioned before we were born.
Yeah, true.
At here in town, well, in Little Rock, it's not far from here, we have it's called Murray's Dinner Theater. Mm-hmm. And or Murray's Playhouse, they call it. But it's a dinner theater, and so we go occasionally, and it's so much fun to watch people act out things. We just watched one not too long ago, the Baskerville.
Hound of the Baskervilles?
Yes. So it was a lot of fun. I took my youngest son for his birthday.
Oh, nice.
He turned 32, so.
You know what? I think all right, at least on my Discord, I'm going to try to do the usual post. But I'm not going to go through like the entirety of social media and do that. I think I just have to hide you guys briefly. I'm going to go over here. Okay. Now I'm free to do what I want with Discord and not have to worry about it. Okay. All right, now I should be able to go back. Ooh, go back here. Oh, come on. There we go. All right. All right, there we go. Now they can see your lovely smiling faces again. Hey there, CW Train. You're very stoked for this. So are we. We have been planning this for quite a long time. As a matter of fact, I have the script here. If I look at the copyright date on it that Matt put on there, June 4th, 2025, and here we are performing it exactly 1 year later. That's pretty weird. Cool. Isn't that weird too? That it like June 4th happened to be a Thursday and the perfect date for us to do this.
Yeah, we didn't push it to have that be the case either.
No.
It just happened to be that day. It's so weird.
Why don't we start out with introductions? And as we normally go from left to right, and Laurel, you are on the left, and you this is your first time on the show, and you're usually in the audience. No, but today you are live with us. So why don't you start and introduce yourself?
Okay, I'm Laurel Callahan. I'm one of the 9 of us who formed the Lore Masters of Quora 9. And I was very honored to be asked by John and Matt to be a part of this group. I've been in love with the stories and works of Tolkien ever since I was a very little kid. My parents would read it. We really enjoy it. It was just something we really enjoyed to do as a family. So, and it was Quora that really helped me to share that with other people. So thank you for inviting me. I'm looking forward to all this.
And you guys know me. You guys, well, you're at my channel, so I don't need to do much introduction. But my name is John Sierra, and I am a Tolkien scholar. Similar to Laurel, I have been in love with and studying the works of Tolkien since I was a young boy. I had to have been about 8 years old when I first read The Hobbit, and maybe about 10 when I first read The Lord of the Rings. And about 12 when I picked up Unfinished Tales, and that's what really got me into the actual study of it, not just reading it, but the actual study of it. And I haven't slowed down since then. And I normally pass on all of the wisdom and insights and knowledge that I gained from study of Tolkien's Legendarium to you guys in the form of answering your questions. But today is all about having fun. We have this lovely little play, I don't want to say loosely, but it's based on Beren and Lúthien that Matt wrote. He based it on not just the Silmarillion or the novelized form, but also the Lay of Lúthien. And there are some things that are minor changes just to make it work as a play in this format so that it's not going to be, really, really long. But it is really wonderful. And just to let you guys know that, we had our final rehearsal just last night, so we're pretty raring to go. Matt, why don't you go ahead, and especially since you're sort of the man of the hour, introduce yourself.
Okay, well, thank you, John. Are we going to go through the what inspired me part now or later?
Well, later you would just do thank yous and stuff. So yeah, the inspiration stuff, you definitely talk about that now.
Okay. Well, again, my name is Matt Richardson. I go by Lore Master on Quora, and I am part of the 9 of us on Quora. I first got my exposure to The Hobbit when I was 11 years old, and that was in 1977. And was reading The Lord of the Rings and then the Silmarillion pretty much from an early age. Before I graduated from high school, I was reading the Silmarillion, and I really got into that. I am a retired professor of philosophy, ethics, and world religions, and this group that we have on Quora, I think our total reads are at, I don't know, 380 million reads worldwide, and we have a pretty good, what you might call, collective following. And the 3 of us here today have been. This is probably our 4th rehearsal, probably.
This isn't a rehearsal. This is the thing. We're doing it today.
I mean, what I mean is we've rehearsed 4 times.
Well, we had 2. We had a table read, and we had 2 rehearsals.
Yeah, that sounds right. And then John's also done a lot of work. So I had some things to talk about real quick, which is what inspired me. Well, what inspired me to do this was, there's no plays out there. You think about how many high schools and colleges and professional play troops, and I go to Ashland every 3 or 4 years and watch Shakespeare. And I'm like, well, why? I know it's very difficult to have this done professionally because of the way that the Tolkien estate runs their copyrights and their trademarks and all their licenses, and I get that. We are a kind of an educational group in one sense, and we're doing this just for the public's purposes in getting this out to people. And I just figured, why not do something? First, it was a challenge. can it be done? And two, can it be done in such a way that feels like a play and also be taken from the Lay of Lúthien and the Silmarillion in their exact references and their exact citations, and not change anything, not play around with it like we all talk about, movie companies not doing when they don't need to. In this particular case, very little has been changed at all, except for some some streamlining to move from one scene to the next is probably all there really is here. So I would say probably 97% of this is right out of those primary sources, and that was a challenge on its own, which was fun, but it did take a long time, as you can imagine, to write this. The process of writing this didn't just happen totally by myself. I mean, I did most of it by myself, but I bounced a few ideas off of Sid and John early on about how to make this, and in the end, I basically decided to make this a formal play script, the way that you would see it from Shakespeare. So the format in its original form was a Shakespearean play script, which is really cool because it tells you what's going on for stagecraft, what's going on behind the scenes, what the audience is looking at, so that the producers and directors and all of the stage and actors can see what's going on visually before they actually, are on stage practicing for the play. That means that the descriptors or the paragraphs that are not related to a narrator have a little bit of bulk to them. They basically tell you kind of what the scene should look like so that most people could pick it up. Even a high school or non-for-profit play director could pick it up and go, "Oh, I've never read the Silmarillion, but I understand what that's saying. I understand what this set should look like, and all of that kind of thing." So it's formal in that sense. However, it has taken on several variations at this point to get us where we are today.
Matt,
Um,
what is your favorite play?
uh, a favorite play I've ever seen
Yeah,
in my life?
yeah.
Oh,
Out of
well,
curiosity.
I really love Pirates of Penzance. I'm a kind of
Hmm.
a Gilbert and Sullivan fan.
Okay.
But I also like the Mikado because I think Kabuki theater is so hilarious, especially,
Yes.
from that culture, which you even see in
It's
today's.
fun. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, there's a lot of, the "Hoo-ah," all the facial
Oh,
expressions. Yeah,
yeah.
it's always still kind of there. And, it's part of the Japanese culture mainly, Chinese, Asian Oriental culture for sure, but especially in its high form, if you want to call it,
Yeah.
in Japan.
What about
So, yeah.
Laurel? What about you? What is your favorite play?
Um, Probably. Well, one of my favorites would probably be Phantom of the Opera.
Okay.
I've seen it.
I'm
But
the odd man out here. I'm the one that's not gonna go musical theater, I guess.
but I mean, like I said, we enjoy going to the dinner theater, in our in Little Rock, and just enjoying, the actors and the work that they do, and it really doesn't matter. It's just fun.
It is just a fun time. The favorite play that I've personally seen, Waiting for Godot. Love that one. Just as a showcase for acting. It's like a sort of an actor's dream to do that, and I think it's like sort of an audience's dream to just watch people go into these wild tangents and these crazed theories and have you just really believe that something's going to happen when nothing really ever happens in it.
Yeah. I also like Carmen, and but I watch,
That's opera. Yeah, that's
it's
very,
opera.
yeah.
I love opera, and I love the symphony, and I don't go every year, but I probably go to either opera, symphony, or a ballet of some kind every
Yeah.
2 or 3 years of some sort. But yeah.
Laurel mentioning dinner theater sort of unlocked a core memory. When I was young, I saw a production of it was a dinner theater production of Frankenstein, actually, which was really interesting. But it was
That was fun.
it was but they took a lot of liberties with the story to make it work in the sort of dinner theater. It was in Manhattan, but they had a really good production. It was a lot of fun, to see that, and Frankenstein's a fantastic novel, but they were definitely doing a more unique take on it, I would say, which was interesting.
So picking up where we left off, I wanted to also say that, when I sent my script out to Sid, who is the kind of a expert part of our show, but also was going to look at our script, and John, and then Laurel. That part of it was really cool because we all got together about what was going to work, what was not going to work, what was going to be an accepted slight bridge or variation to make things work. And so over the last 6 months or so, John says there's 3 rehearsals. That's true, but there's probably been at least that many or more conversations.
Many conversations, yes.
Many conversations over the last year about this in general, along with scheduling it. And then, John did something really, I'm not going to give it away what's happening tonight. But
I'm going to talk about that right after you're done here.
Okay, so I won't say anything about it, but John did some real serious work on this, and he is to be credited for being the guy who has really put this together on the finished end of this. I'm more of the writer and visionary of this, but John is the actual person who's been able to make this.
I guess producer would be the title that I would, yeah.
Yeah.
So let me
tell you. Need a really big hand.
Thank you.
One last thing. I want everyone to know that we're doing something, very old-fashioned in a very modern setting. People don't normally do play readings in an old-fashioned way of a kind of an old-fashioned type of text like this on YouTube. So what you're watching tonight is very unique. And thank you for your participation in watching this happen live tonight.
You know who I have seen do something not quite on this level, but in the same vein was actually Sir Patrick Stewart. During the COVID era, he was doing a lot of Shakespeare stuff on live stream, but he was doing only soliloquies and monologues and couplets and things like that. And, so having, like a cast together like this. And I will tell you a bit about production. As you will notice, we have a curtain behind us, and that curtain will raise. And throughout each scene, we will have a backdrop so that you can sort of imagine that we are in those actual scenes. In the description of the video version, when this goes out as a video, this is just a live stream right now. And after the live stream is over, it's going to be taken off, and I'm going to put it up as a video so that I could put the proper credits in for each artist that I used. Also, we have actually a 4th performer, and this is really cool because during our table read, we struggled with the idea of the narrative bits, the parts that are not attributed to any particular character, but is the narrator telling you what is happening, and sort of just setting the scene. And we did have the idea of maybe trying to have Sid do that since he couldn't be part of the production, but then he wasn't able to do that. So I actually, we have a 4th performer who is not going to be here on camera, but pre-recorded all the narrative bits, which is a good friend, Wayne Jones, a professional voice actor and radio DJ out of your neck of the woods. He lives up by you, Matt, up in Washington State. So you're going to be hearing his voice at the beginning of each scene. You're going to be hearing his voices a few times during the scenes, just to let you know, because we are all in different places. I'm here in Pennsylvania, Laurel's down in Arkansas, and Matt is on the West Coast in Washington State. We're not even in the same time zones, any of us. So what's really fun is that we can't really act out things, and there's logistical challenges to this sort of thing. Like in our rehearsal yesterday, Laurel and Matt were talking about maybe trying to look like they're locking eyes during one scene, and I'm like, oh, but I'm between you two, so that might not work perfectly well. You'll both just look like you're looking at me. So there are a lot of logistical challenges to something like this, and it is not going to be perfect, but it is going to be a lot of fun, especially if you're familiar with the story of Beren and Lúthien. Also, on the channel, aside from the fact that we are going to have this go out as a video probably just a few hours after production wraps, I'll be doing that. But also, if you're a member of the channel, and oh, hi, Deb, I see. Like Deb right there is a member of the channel. I see the little Gandalf rune with a little moon next to it. You'll be able to have access to a few other videos that I'm going to put out, including one where I'm going to put some music in each scene, and there's going to be pictures of the characters above our heads to let you know who is actually speaking. And also, there are going to be the rehearsals. I'm going to put those up so you'll be able to view the rehearsals and all of us getting into silly arguments and correcting each other and having fun rehearsing it. Those will be put out there. And Wayne is going to send me outtakes from our session of his voice acting for this, and some of those are pretty funny, especially Wayne trying to get the pronunciation of some of these names, which he did an admirable job of. But there you have it. One last thing before we begin, I'd like each of us to sort of just let the audience know which characters we play. So Laurel, we'll start over with you since you're on the level. Start over with who you're playing.
All right, I will be playing Lúthien, who is the daughter of Melian, who was a Maya, who became an elf and married Ilúthien. And then I will be playing Melian at times, which is the mother. And then I will get a moment where I play Nienna.
Mm-hmm. I think there's one more, isn't there?
Well, she's Lúthien, Melian, and Nienna. Yeah, that's about it.
Yeah,
don't you?
it.
I think you also played Edgerhill, didn't you?
Well, I was going
Or
to,
is that
but
me?
Matt took
Oh,
it
no,
over.
no. Okay, yeah. Okay, so I will be playing the roles of Ilúthien, Lúthien's father, Celegorm, one of the Feanorians, Sauron. I don't think I need to tell you who Sauron is. And also Huan. He only has one line, but I'll be playing Huan, and I'll also be making some animal noises at a few points during this. And then, Matt, go ahead.
I will be playing Beren, and I will be playing Curufin, Morgoth, and Mandos.
Oh, also, I played Daeron. I didn't underline him properly, but I played
No,
Daeron.
I'm doing Daeron.
I did him on rehearsal yesterday.
No, I did No, you.
Oh, no, I'm not. Oh, yeah, you're right. Not
Yeah.
Daeron. What's his name later on? That speaks with Finrod.
You're doing Celegorm.
No, there was another character. Let me just. There's a line between. Actually, I think it's between. Oh, you know what? I'm thinking of Edgerhill, probably.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter. We're ready to do this. Okay, so without further ado, we're going to lift the curtain here. And we are going to begin with Act 1, Scene 1. There will be a brief intermission after, after Act 3, right?
Yes.
Okay.
After Act 3, there'll be an intermission.
Okay.
So you can get popcorn and some soda.
Bio breaks and such. We'll catch up on chat. Here we go.
The Battle of Sudden Flame. First Age 455 and the ongoing wars and ruin of Beleriand have been a scourge to the living and the land for previous decades. Now, 11 years later in 466, Beren escaped the war-ridden lands of his home to seek peace and shelter in Doriath, the ancient forest kingdom of Thingol and Melian. While traveling in stealth to avoid detection, he has heard the singing of Princess Lúthien, and seeing her, has fallen in love with her, enchanted. They begin their romance in secret, and are finally discovered. Lúthien has accepted Beren's proposed betrothal, but her father, King Thingol, has challenged Beren to perform a terrible and perilous task for the right to wed his daughter. However, unbeknownst to the king and queen, the Princess Lúthien is determined to help Beren at all costs, so are many others, but for reasons both noble and nefarious, as you soon shall see.
Of elder nights, ere stars were dimmed by hate, now tale comes of love and loss and fate, of Beren, man, whose lineage bore the scar of Morgoth's wars to destroy and mar. Through ruin's path, from Dorthonian height, he came as a shadow escaping night, did pierce the girdle wrought by power deep, and elven kings many guards did keep. There found fair Lúthien, of twofold race, whose beauty shone in that guarded place. Their meeting weaves the threads of joy and pain, and soon will challenge the Dark Lord's reign. Hearken now, the drama hath begun, under cloud and sky, the moon and sun.
And scene. Beautiful.
Our story begins with Beren in Neldor's deep woods, where he senses an unseen power and eyes about him, marking his passage as he unknowingly passes the boundary of Melian's enchanted girdle. Lúthien sees...
This place I know to be a place of peace, though perilous for mortal feet. Yet the fragile bloom of hope within me stirs, a foolish hope, perhaps, but the sound of singing I hear is one of pure beauty. Hark, there!
Lúthien ceases her dance, sensing his presence. Beren is drawn towards her and tries to speak, but she flees swift as a shadow and vanishes into the trees. Beren remains in the glade, enthralled by the memory of her. He spends the following days and nights searching the forest for her, calling her name, longing to see her again. Lúthien finally appears again in the glade, drawn by the sound of Beren's despairing call for her as Tinuviel, which she understands as Nightingale. She comes to stand still at the edge of the glade, and she looks to find him.
Tinuviel, I see and name thee, for you are a daughter of twilight, the nightingale. But what is thy given name, fairest of ladies?
A man in Doriath?
Lúthien departs the following morning, but they visit each other many times in the forest, and no other has had joy so great. Lúthien tends to the weariness of Beren's life with her power and love. As Beren and Lúthien wander deeper into the forest, happy and in love, they are followed secretly by Daeron, who has seen their last meeting, and noting their affections, he leaves the glade to spread word to the king and queen of Menegroth.
And scene.
The throne room in Menegroth is a hall carved from rock, lit by lamps. King Thingol sits upon his throne. Queen Melian is seated beside him. The lore master and minstrel Daeron, who also loves Lúthien, enters the hall looking troubled.
My lord and lady, I bear tidings from sentinels that weighs upon my heart.
Speak, Daeron. What news from the woods?
It concerns Lúthien, my lord. She has been meeting with a stranger, a man.
An Atan? Within our girdle? I did not sense this.
He is a man, my lady. He passed the girdle, though by what power I do not know. He meets with the princess in the forest often, as our sentinels report.
A man in Doriath consorting with my daughter? This cannot stand. Find this man and summon Lúthien at once.
The guards leave to escort Daeron away in search for Beren, leaving Thingol brooding alone in his thought until his daughter Lúthien appears.
It brings me grief and amazement that you would consort with a man in our own forest under our most hallowed trees. Tell me, pray tell, daughter, is this true? Your silence says enough, daughter. The sentinels are already looking for him. This Beren will be found and judged soon enough.
Father, no! I'll tell you where he is if you swear not to slay or imprison him.
Very well, daughter. I swear it.
He is in the glade north of the East Path Crossway.
Lúthien departs to be with Beren.
Husband, be wary. Lúthien's heart seems already to be given to this Atan, who has passed my girdle unaffected. He must be a good and noble man, though man he may be.
He is mortal. She is of the Eldar, and my only child. He must be punished for his trespass and insolence. You know, my wife, my law forbids mortal race from entering this realm, and yet he has done so. He will speak, or have his tongue loosened.
Beren is brought before the guards along with an unescorted Lúthien. He is disheveled but carries himself with noble bearing. He is brought before the throne in the attendance of the lords and ladies.
Who are you that come hither as a thief and unbidden, dare to approach my throne?
This is Beren, son of Barahir, lord of men, mighty foe of Morgoth, the tale of whose deeds have become song even here among the elves of Doriath.
Let Beren speak. What would you hear, unhappy mortal? For what cause have you left your own land to enter this which is forbidden to such as you? Can you show reason why my power should not be laid on you as heavy punishment for your insolence and folly?
My fate, O king, led me hither, through perils such as few of the elves would dare. And here I have found what I have sought not, indeed, but finding it, would possess forever. For it is above all gold and silver, and beyond all jewels. Neither rock, nor steel, nor the fires of Morgoth, nor all the powers of the elf kingdoms, shall keep me from the treasure that I desire. For Lúthien, your daughter, is the fairest of all the children of the world.
Death you have earned with these words. In death you should find, suddenly, had I not sworn an oath in haste, of which I repent, base-born mortal, who in the realm of Morgoth has learned to creep in secret as his spies and thralls.
Death you can give me earned or unearned, but the names I will not take from you of baseborn, nor spy, nor thrall. By the ring of Finrod Felagund that he gave to Barahir my father on the battlefield of the north, my house has not earned such names from any elf, be he king or no.
Beren holds aloft the ring of Barahir, entwined with silver serpents and bejeweled with emeralds, made in Valinor, and recognized to all as the royal badge of Finrod and the house of Finarfin.
For not by thee shall Beren be slain, for far and free his fate is lain, yet wound with thine, so take great heed.
These unhappy men, children of little lords and brief kings, shall such as these lay hands on you and yet live? I see the ring, son of Barahir, and I perceive that you are proud and deem yourself mighty. But a father's deeds, even had his service been rendered to me, avail not to win the daughter of Thingol and Melian. See now, I too desire a treasure that is withheld. For rock and steel and the fires of Morgoth keep the jewel that I would possess against all the powers of the elf kingdoms. Yet I hear you say that bands such as these do not daunt you. Go your way, therefore. Bring to me in your hand a Silmaril from Morgoth's crown. And then, if she will, Lúthien may set her hand in yours. Then you shall have my jewel. And though the fate of Arda lies within the Silmarils, yet you shall hold me generous.
Ha ha! For little price do elven kings sell their daughters, for gems and things made by craft. If this be your will, Thingol, I will perform it. And when we meet again, my hand shall hold the Silmaril from the Iron Crown, for you have not looked the last upon Beren, son of Barahir.
Beren locks eyes with Melian, then bade Lúthien farewell with a bow, then bows to Thingol and Melian, putting aside the guards about him, and departs alone.
O king, thou hast devised a cunning counsel, but if mine eyes have not lost their sight, it is ill for thee, whether Beren fail in this.
I think we're having a technical issue. Laurel, could you read that part again? You cut out.
Okay. O king, thou hast devised a cunning counsel, but if mine eyes have not lost their sight, it is ill for thee, whether Beren fail in this errand or achieve it. Thou hast doomed either thyself or thy daughter. Now is Doriath drawn into a mightier doom.
I sell not to elves or men those whom I love and cherish above all treasure. And if there were hope or fear that Beren should come ever back alive to Menegroth, he should not have looked again upon the light of heaven, though I had sworn it. And I shall tell ye more, my wife. Daeron has informed me of Lúthien's plot to leave with Beren on this quest, and it shall not be permitted. She shall assume residence in here alone, the great treehouse of Menegroth under guard, until this matter has run its course.
Father, no!
Silence, daughter! Be content your comfort is not more reduced. I have spoken. End scene. Okay. End of Act 1 as well. All right. Act 2. Here we go.
In the wild lands outside the girdle of Melian, Beren journeys into the dreaded lands nearer to Angband to seek help from the kingdom of Nargothrond. Its ruler King Finrod Felagund, son of Finarfin, is an old ally of Beren's father, Barahir. He is alone and determined to face his impossible task. Beren knows he is being watched. The sentinels of Nargothrond are as deadly with their arrows as those in Doriath, and fearing his death may be nigh, he holds aloft his ring.
I am the son of Barahir, friend of Felagund. Take me to the king.
Beren is surrounded by the sentinels, who command him to halt, but after inspecting the ring, they bow low before him.
Halt there, Aftercomer. Ah, I see the ring. Greetings from Nargothrond, Beren, son of Barahir, and elf friend. We will take you to the king. Please allow us to escort you. This way. End scene.
Beren is led before Finrod. He is still in rough shape, but the ring on his hand marks him. However, Finrod needs not to look at the ring to be reminded of Beren's father Barahir.
I affirm thee, Beren, son of Barahir. I have awaited news from the Outer Realm for some time, and long in the shadows of fate for thy coming. What are thy needs?
King Finrod, I have fled Dorthonion under shadow of Morgoth, and straying in Doriath for shelter and safety, did find and betroth in love Lúthien, daughter of Thingol and Melian. My need is great, and I come before you to claim the oath sworn to my father and his house. Today I beseech thee for that oath to stand.
What is your need, son of Barahir? My oath stands.
My quest, by Thingol's device of oath and bond for Lúthien's hand, is this: to take a Silmaril from the Iron Crown, of Morgoth in Angband as wedding guild. I ask for your aid in this mission.
A shock runs through the lords and ladies of Nargothrond. Celegorn and Curufin exchange dark glances from the rear of the throng at the news of the Silmarils.
It is plain that Thingol desires your death, but it seems that this doom goes beyond his purpose, and that the oath of Feanor is again at work. For the Silmarils are cursed with an oath of hatred that even names them, and desire moves a great power from slumber, other than themselves, to win or possess a Silmaril, for the oath drives them. And now, Celegorm and Curufin are dwelling in my halls, and though I, Finarfin's son, am king, they have won a strong power in the realm that lead many of their own people. They have shown friendship to me in every need, but I fear that they will show neither love nor mercy to you if your quest be told. Yet my own oath holds, and thus we are all ensnared. The deeds of Beren and his house are well known, and so is my vow. I will aid thee.
Celegorn and Curufin step forward from the throng. Celegorn gives out a mighty cry and draws his sword, while Curufin puts his hand on his hilt.
Be he friend or foe, whether demon of Morgoth or elf, or child of men or any other living thing in Arda, neither law nor love nor league of hell nor might of the Valar, nor any power of wizardry shall defend him from this pursuing hate of Feanor's sons, if he take or find a Silmaril and keep it. For the Silmarils we alone claim until the world ends.
Be warned of this council, citizens of Nargothrond. Ruin and war await. For we lead a great portion of this people, and the king's mission that seeks to give any of the Silmarils, dare all three, to King Thingol of Doriath, bodes ill for all.
Finrod casts his circlet crown to the ground, realizing that his oath to Beren has weakened his power.
Your oaths of faith to me you may break, but I must hold my bond. Yet if there be any on whom the shadow of our curse has not yet fallen, I should find at least a few to follow me, and should not go hence as a beggar that is thrust from the gates.
Several elves, including Edrahil, enter, and Edrahil stoops to pick up the circlet crown and speaks.
You remain my king, and theirs, my lord, whatever betide, but we request that a steward be named in your stead.
Very well. I name Orodreth, my brother, as steward of the crown.
As Orodreth is crowned and Finrod and Beren depart, Celegorn and Curufin exchange a glance, looking quite pleased about consolidating their power in Nargothrond with Finrod's departure.
Let those who will come with me. We go to face the shadow.
The journey.
End scene.
The journey north towards Angband has become increasingly desolate and dangerous. Finrod and Beren have just slain an orc patrol, and pulling out arrows and donning orc raiment and gear is disguised to travel through dangerous lands toward Angband. As they're about to leave, they are waylaid and captured by a second, larger orc patrol and led away to Talon Garoth, the fortress of Sauron. They are brought to Sauron's throne room, where he sits surrounded by orc guards and werewolves around a black iron throne. Finrod engages with Sauron in a spiritual battle, singing songs of power at each other. Finrod.
Sorry about that. I got ahead of myself there. What a sordid company this is. 11 elves and a man, this far north, and never innocent of anything. Who are you, and what is your mission? Silence. Very well. I will discover the truth of this matter, much to your displeasure. No, you will not.
Finrod engages with Sauron in a spiritual battle, singing songs of power at each other. Finrod, defeated, falls to his knees, exhausted and defeated. And at this moment, the spell of concealment over his company fades away as they begin to twist and contort, shedding them of their raiment and gear.
And scene. Your powers will not avail you here, elf. And now I see your purpose. You are stripped, and I lay you bare before my power. Take them away to the dens, and bring them back when their tongues have found the truth of this mission.
In the pits of Talon-Garath, a deep dark dungeon of dens and their denizens, Finrod, Beren, and their companions are chained in the darkness. Sauron sends werewolves into the pit one by one to devour the companions, to force Beren and Finrod to speak. When there are no companions left, Beren and Finrod sing a song of lament and memory in honor of their followers.
Now we raise thee, bless and crown thee, cast thy soul free. Now for thee we mourn. Now we love thee, hold and keep thee. Write thy story, from thee we are torn. Then we bear thee, never leave thee. Plant the great tree, and blow the great horn.
Finally, the largest werewolf comes for Beren. Finrod, summoning his last strength, breaks the bonds and wrestles with the werewolf, killing it with his bare hands and teeth, saving Beren's life, but suffering mortal wounds himself.
I go now to my long rest in the timeless halls, beyond the seas and the mountains of Aemon. It will be long ere I am seen among the Noldor again, and it may be that we will not meet a second time in death or life, for the fates of our kindreds are apart. Farewell.
The spirit of Finrod departs, as black-clad spirits of Mandos drag him away. Beren remains alone in the pit, grieving, as the red eyes of the wolves glint in the darkness.
And scene. Okay. Act 3. Here we go.
In the lands outside Doriath, Lúthien has been confined to live in a treehouse called Hidalon in Menegroth as a prisoner under guard and key. She senses Beren's plight through her love and fears for his safety. Her mother Melian communes with her in a dream, telling her that Beren and the others have been captured and that Finrod has been slain. She had already decided to escape and has caused by spell to grow her enchanted hair to grow long enough to reach the guards at the base of Hidalon.
Daughter, awake! I have received tidings of Beren. He is on the Isle of the Werewolves, held captive and nigh to death along with his companions. Awake and make haste, Lúthien.
When Lúthien awakens from her dream, she hastens to drop her rope of hair to the guards below, causing them to collapse in a deep and enchanted sleep. She uses her hair to descend the tree, cutting a long section to fashion a scarf around her neck, which becomes an enchanted hooded black cape, which assists her in escaping.
End scene.
Lúthien is discovered by Huan, the Hound of Valinor, who is hunting with Celegorn and Curufin in the lands near the borders of Doriath.
Oh, noble beast, do not slay me. Allow me to pass. I seek Beren, the man I love, to give him aid.
Ah, Huan, and what maid in the woods be this?
Well, this be beyond fair maid, brother. This is Lúthien, daughter of Thingol.
I am she, lords. I seek Beren, son of Barahir. Have you news of him?
Beren? Yes, we know of his quest, a fool's errand. Rumor tells he was headed northward to Tolkien, an accursed region. Going thither, we presume he is captured or dead.
But if Sauron holds him, We will show you the way in the morning. These regions are patrolled heavily by orcs at night. But do not despair, Princess. You cannot hope to rescue him yourself, so we three will help you.
Celegorn gives a nefarious glance to Curufin. Huan sees the glance and realizes that Celegorn claims to keep Lúthien either to wed or to keep hostage against Thingol. They speak flatteringly, but their eyes are cold, and Huan senses the plot for betrayal. They bed for the night, and Lúthien puts them in a deeper sleep with her enchanted robes. She leaves the camp, and Huan follows to give her aid.
End scene.
Lúthien and Huan travel swiftly and arrive at the bridge of the Isle of Werewolves, knowing that the fate of Beren and Finrod hangs in the balance. She sings a song of calling to Beren as Sauron's tower looms. A menacing werewolf guards the opposing side of the bridge.
I sing to thee, open thy heart and see. My love, hear me. I've come to set you free.
I hear you, my Lúthien.
Huan races to slay the werewolf. Another replaces it immediately, and that one is slain as well. Finally, Dragluin appears, the most menacing of the werewolves, bred by Morgoth.
Droglin, foul beast of Morgoth, submit or die.
Lúthien motions to Huan, who attacks Droglin with all his might, and a terrible battle ensues. Huan is victorious, and Droglin retreats across the bridge and dies.
Sauron, master, Lord and Lúthien have come.
I am Lúthien. I come seeking a man in his company. Release them to me.
Sauron appears in werewolf form, cackling with dark laughter. He ruses to attack Lúthien. She leaps aside, casting her dark cloak over him as he passes, the enchantment causing him to swoon and stumble. Huan then springs upon him, and their great battle ensues. Huan pins Sauron in his great jaws, and Sauron changes form from wolf to serpent, then to his own accustomed form. But he cannot escape the grip of Huan without forsaking his body.
Sauron, thy might be broken. Yield, or thou shalt be stripped of thine raiment, and thy quaking ghost be sent back to Morgoth. There everlastingly thy naked self shall endure the torment of his scorn, pierced by his cruel eyes, unless you yield the master of thy tower to me.
Very well.
Sauron releases his hands from Huan and lets them fall to the ground in defeat and nods, yielding to Lúthien control of the tower. Sauron is released and changes form into a great vampire and flies into the night, blood dripping from his neck onto the trees. The tower is yielded to Lúthien and is restored to its former name of Tol Sirion, and the dark spells of Sauron were broken and the ages of the pits were opened. Lúthien, victorious, raises her hands above her head in the direction of the tower, dropping them down to wash clean the foul remnants of Sauron's vile taint.
End scene.
In the dungeon pits of Tol Sirion, Lúthien and Huan pass by thralls stumbling, rubbing eyes, limping and walking wearily past them to escape. They find the bodies of Finrod and his companions, and finally Beren, slumped in the corner near death.
Lúthien, I hear you called me in the midst of a dark and terrible dream, and I called for you. You came for me, but how can this be?
Yes, Beren, my love, I have come, and I shall heal you. Then we'll bury Finrod, our faithful friend, and his companions here with honor in this place of Tol Sirion, which they founded so long ago.
Let it be so.
Lúthien, Beren, Huan, and the freed thralls leave the pit to recover in the tower of Tol Sirion.
End scene.
My love is wounded, and yet so brave. For love and oath he'll go to Blackland. I cannot save him from this dark fate. Find a way I must into Angband.
And that's going to be our intermission, folks. I hope you guys are enjoying it thus far. We had a few minor little technical snafus there, but we're having fun. Everybody in the chat is enjoying this. I want to say hi, shout out to Moogle and Santa Cruz and CW Train and Deb and Kits as well, and Brendan and Mel reads it. Welcome in, everybody. And I'm hoping that you're all enjoying this as much as we are. Oh, and thanks to you, Santa Cruz, for sitting there and watching us make complete fools out of ourselves. If anybody needs a break, a bathroom break or anything like that, we'll hold here for 5 minutes or so.
Hey, one way or the other, no one's going to be able to claim we don't try to entertain.
Santa Cruz says this is fun. Brendan had said this rocks. So, we're having fun here. Yep. And then Mel reads it, says, yes, it's awesome.
It's just getting good.
Yeah. There were two minor little glitches. One where I accidentally played the next audio clip, and then I quickly corrected it. And the other, Laurel, your whole thing cut out for like a minute, and I just says like, go ahead, just please read that again.
Do it again.
Yeah, because your webcam like froze up, and I'm like, oh no.
No, don't do that.
No, but it corrected itself quickly.
Well, that's good.
I'm going to go and take a very brief bathroom break, folks. I'll be right back, okay?
So, Matt, I'm going to tell you, one of my favorite lines that you did is when you laugh at Thingol about
that was
how cheaply he sells his daughter.
Yeah.
I just love that. I mean, you nail that one every time.
Oh, Thingle, you're a card.
Selling your daughter so cheap just for a jewel.
Yeah, I love that
I
line.
love that line. I think you did, and you nail it too every time.
Well, that's nice of you to say. Thank you. When I first read that in the Silmarillion, I was just thought that his machismo was always so good right there at that moment.
Yeah.
Because the book describes him being actually looking around in the hall at Melian, and he knows who she is kind of, and it's like, holy crap, I'm in a little bit of trouble here. But then he comes out with that line, it's like, all right.
That's a good line.
Yeah.
And you, every time you hit that one just perfect.
I'm back.
I have to laugh every time I hear it. It's like, that's so good. That's a great line.
Oh, which was a great line.
Oh, the one where Matt is talking to Thingol and he laughs and says, you sell your daughter for so cheap a price as a stone.
He's sort of like, oh, is that all?
And it's just, Matt hits it every time. He gets it perfect. His laugh and everything. It's great.
Thingol just literally told him to go to hell. And Beren's reaction is to laugh. Oh, is that all I need to do? Is that it?
Is that all? Is that all you got, Thingle?
I'll show you, old man. And you have to figure that Thingol is a very intimidating presence. The man was 9 feet tall,
Yeah.
And he's got an angel for a wife, so he's just not the sort of dude to upset, we'll say.
Yeah, he's huge. He's at least 8.5. I agree with you.
I believe Tolkien actually said 9 feet tall. He was the tallest of all the children of Iluvatar.
Yeah.
Which is
That's pretty tall.
And we know Elendil's a 7'11".
Yeah, Elendil was like the tallest of his time, but
so he had to be taller than that.
Thingol was a monster of a man. I mean, if they ever do a Beren and Lúthien film, they're going to have to use some camera trickery to make him tower over everybody else.
They'll find a way to have Tom Cruise be Thingol.
Oh no!
Oh my goodness!
He's a wee one. He's a wee.
I know.
And I think I do think he's a good actor, but he can't play Thingol. No, there's no way.
I'm kidding. That's humor right there for sure.
You made me laugh. You made Laurel laugh. You made the chat laugh. There you go. Are we ready to go into Act 4 and 5?
As long as everyone's got their popcorn and they're back in their seats.
Yeah. Okay, so let's...
Everyone got their milk duds.
Here we go.
After recovering to better health in the Tower of Tal Sirion, and needing disguises to approach Angband, Beren and Lúthien donned the raiment of Draughlin and the vampire Turing Weithel, who was caught and killed by Beren as she flew into the tower to deliver a message from Morgoth to Sauron. Beren, Lúthien, and Huan eventually arrive at their dark destination, the cavernous pits and throne room of Angband and the halls of Morgoth Boglir. Khakaroth, the largest and most vicious werewolf of Morgoth, spawn of Draughlin, is awaiting them guarding the gate. Lúthien, gathering power from old and divine race, casts back her foul raiment and hood, steps forward, radiant and terrible, and lifting her right hand, commands Khakaroth to sleep.
O woe-begotten spirit, fall now into oblivion, and forget for a while the dreadful doom of life. Sleep now.
Khakaroth is instantly felled to the ground as though lightning had smote him. The orc guards at the gate also fall to the ground, and Beren and Lúthien pass through the black gates of Angband.
And scene.
Beren and Lúthien enter Morgoth's vast dark throne room, upheld by horror, lit by fire, filled with weapons of death and torment. Morgoth sits on his immense throne wearing the iron crown set with the Silmarils. Balrogs, werewolves, dragons, orcs, trolls, and other fell creatures stand around him. Morgoth is focused on Lúthien's beauty and strips her disguise away from her with a motion of his hand as he bends his guise upon her.
Lúthien Tenuvial am I, daughter of Eluthingal and Melian. I come to beg a boon of thee, and as a fee to sing to thee as a minstrel before you and your court. Will you permit me a song?
Lúthien flits out of sight and out of the shadows. She began a song of such surpassing loveliness and blinding power that he listened perforce, and a blindness came upon him, and his eyes roamed to and fro, seeking her. Her spell song took hold on a dark-kneed hall over Balrogs, dragons, wolves, orcs, and all.
Hear me now, thou hearts of ancient sorrow wrought, of twilight gentle doom hath brought. You hear all before the stars and ancient light, when silence reigned in empty night. 'Twas set forth in Arda, a fine gift for thee. 'Twas love and life for a time might be. Then tales of rivers murmuring the oldest rhyme of old and ancient dawnless time, whence divine voices shaped the first primal law, and mountains rose in might and awe. Now shadows lengthen, dark whispers on the air, of secrets veiled beyond compare, attend every breath of thy fading years, as starlight shone on mortal tears. Yet in this dungeon dim, mightier power lies within the depths of Lúthien's eyes. A song resides to quell dark and hungry maw. I feed it now, my love to gnaw.
Morgoth's court all began to fall asleep in ones and twos and batches, and the fires dim, and the Silmarils blaze brighter. Morgoth's head slumps from the weight of fear and desire, as if the whole world were upon his head, and that even he could not support.
Listen now, weary hearts of stone. Twilight comes to claim its own. Shadows lengthen, dark and deep. Secrets lost, though old world keep. Oh, feel now the world in slumber's soft embrace. Make laden tears stream down thy face. I enfold thee weary in veils evermore, as thy silent tears pound the floor. Sleep now, sleep long, as sunlight drifts softly by. Forget the world beneath the sky. From sorrow's cold chain, from all torment and sting, my gentle cure shall slumber bring. As dry flowers, the stones crumbled at my words. Tall gates fell down, my song they heard. So shall thy burdens heavy though dark they be, yield to the spell I cast on thee.
Lúthien, catching up her winged and enchanted robe, sprang into the air from aside the throne, and her voice came dropping down like rain into pools, profane and dark. She cast her cloak before his eyes and set upon him a dream, dark as the outer void where he once walked alone.
Down you sink, heavy with hate, anguish and pain. From these pools resistance is vain. Let go thee now, from net of doom fall fast, into dark pools thy souls are cast. From hallowed halls and place renowned, my song cometh and droppeth down, finds thee here in cold and stark, rain-made pools profound and dark. As moonless night, blackened skies, I cast my cloak before thine eyes. A ghost comes from olden yore, drags thee down to dream no more. Forget to the dreadful doom of death, so sweet it is to still thy breath. Fall in the pool, oblivion's thrall, O woe-begotten spirits, fall.
At last, suddenly Morgoth falls as a hill sliding in avalanche, hurled like thunder from his throne, and lay prone upon the floors of hell. The iron crown rolled with echo from his head. All things still. The few last remaining servants of the Dark Lord who were not already asleep fell to the ground and into a deep and enchanted sleep. Lúthien, her strength almost spent, awakes Beren, who sheds his disguise and approaches the throne and cuts a silmaril from the crown, handing it to Lúthien. He attempts to free another, but the tip of his knife breaks and by chance strikes the left cheek of Morgoth, who groans and stirs. Then all his court begins to stir.
Beren, we must flee now, my love, ere my strength leaves me and we are trapped. Make haste.
End scene.
Beren and Lúthien burst out of Angband's gates. They come to a sudden stop where they see Carcharoth growling, forbidding them to pass. Lúthien, exhausted, has no strength to quell the beast. Beren strides up and holds aloft the silmaril in his right hand.
Get you gone and fly, for here is a fire that shall consume you and all evil things.
Carcharoth, ravenous, awakened with fire, devours Beren's hand, along with the silmaril he held. Carcharoth, now with the holy jewel in his innards, was filled with flames of anguish as the silmaril seared his accursed flesh. He howls and tries to flee, but is caught by Huon. Huon attacks Carcharoth. A desperate and final battle between the Hound of Valinor and the maddened Wolf of Hell ensues. Carcharoth is slain with the silmaril still in his belly. Lúthien tends to Beren's terrible wound. Using her remaining strength, Huon comes staggering back to them and speaks for the final time.
Farewell, Beren, son of Beren. Farewell, Lúthien to Nuhel. My fate has been fulfilled, and now I go home to the fields of Valinor to run free.
Huon, valiant beast, fare thee well.
Huon dies, and Beren passes out from loss of blood. A hunting party of elves from Doriath arrive and start to cut open the belly of the wolf to exhume the silmaril. Holding up as it shines, they depart with glee into the shadows.
End scene.
In the throne room of Menegroth, King Thingol and Queen Melian sit with lords and ladies. News has reached them of Beren and Lúthien's return with a silmaril. They arrive and Thingol looks upon Beren with wonder and displeasure, who is secretly one-handed and wearing a great grey cloak.
I return according to my word. I am come now to claim my own.
What of your quest and your vow?
It is fulfilled. Even now, a Silmaril is in my hand.
Show it to me.
Beren weakly shows forth his left hand and slowly opens his fingers, but it's empty. Then after a pause, he raises his right, showing nothing but a stub, and in showing it is dejected. Suddenly, Mablung and the party of elf hunters who have taken the Silmaril from Kakarroth arrive.
Sire, we have made haste to bring great news. The Silmaril has been recovered, and I give it now to Beren, as he is the rightful deliverer of the great jewel. Very well. I yield to my vow. Beren, you may take Lúthien's hand. Take a place beside me.
Beren collapses from his chair, spent. Lúthien fails to catch him, the Silmaril rolling from his grasp. Thingol rises to pick it up, concerned with Beren's failing health from his venomous wounds. Beren is carried away by guards, gravely ill, followed by Lúthien. Thingol sits heavily on his throne, contemplating the burden of events, with one of the famed and much sought-after Silmarils alight in his hands.
End scene.
Beren lies, dying in bed. Lúthien is at his side.
Beren, my love, my heart you take. I beg thee hear my plea. If thou shalt leave and not awake, await me beyond the sea.
Danuvial, my love, the quest for your love and hand is finished, but my heart shall never leave you.
Beren dies. Lúthien remains overcome with grief so profound, she forsakes her body and dies. Falling to the floor is a newly cut flower, lying beneath his fallen arm. Her spirit departs to Mondus.
End scene. All right. You ready, Laurel? Here we go.
The halls of Mandos in Valinor, a place of quiet waiting for the spirits of the dead. Namo Mandos, doomsman of the Valar, is seated upon his throne. The spirit of Beren stands in the shadows as the spirit of Lúthien arrives, her sorrow great. Lúthien kneels before Namo Mandos and begins to cry and sing, her tears falling on the feet like rain upon the stones of sorrow on the shores of the outer sea.
My break by fell head, my thigh calls me. Who shall love but I? Behold our blight, marred by black might, shadows all night. What shall love deny? His fate unjust, joy turned to dust. Now we must, when shall love not die? Shall light be vain? Our fate be pain? Kindreds all slain, when shall love but sigh? With light we fled, for love we bled, yet ne'er to wed. When shall love then die? Mando's pity, thy heart calls thee, love and mercy. How shall love be high? Love and mercy. How shall love be high?
Nienna of the Valar succumbs to weeping and falls to her knees. Namo Mandos, moved to pity for the first time, sheds a single tear onto the stones of sorrow.
Oh, Iluvatar, hearken to love's eternal plea. Have pity.
Your heart has been heard, child, and by the spear of your sorrow thou hast wounded me. The pity of the Valar you have, while the doom of men cannot be unmade by my hand alone, as death is their portion, I will seek the counsel of Manwë, the king of the Valar, to discover the will of Iluvatar for you and Beren. Hear now thy doom. For Lúthien's sake, a choice is given to her alone. You may remain here in Valinor, and be released from Mandos, there to dwell unto the world's end among the Valar, forgetting all the grief your life had known. But thither Beren could not come, for it is not permitted to the Valar to withhold death from him, which is the portion and gift of Iluvatar to men. Or the other choice is this, that you can return to Middle-earth, and take with you Beren, there to dwell again, but without certitude of life or joy. Then you would become mortal, and subject to a second death as he. And ere long you would leave the world forever, and your beauty become only memory in song.
My lord, love and mortality I shall have. I choose Beren.
And so it shall be, as Iluvatar has spoken.
Namo Mandos nods. The choice is made. He motions for Beren to wake, who steps forth from the shadows, overjoyed to see Lúthien. They run into each other's embrace.
And scene.
On the Isle of Tol Galen, where Beren and Lúthien have been placed in Middle-earth by Namo Mandos, walk hand in hand happily accepting their fate with peace, reunited in love, near the forest of Neldoreth.
Beren, son of Barahir, you have won my daughter's hand, whose heart was given to thee. May you live long in love under cloud and sky, the sun and the moon.
My lord king, this quest was for Lúthien and love. Her love is my prize, and I bid you all, Elin sila lumen omentielvo.
Namari Melon.
Marie Melo. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is it. Give ourselves a little hand. Matt, when I said, oh, there was one more character I play, he just has a single line, I couldn't remember who. It was Moblong, of course.
Mm-hmm.
That's who I couldn't. I never. I think he wasn't on the cast list, so I didn't have him underlined. But when the line comes up, I had him underlined in like purple or something. So I was ready to go.
Yeah, well, good. Well,
That's the hardest part for me because I have to do two different guys who are both speaking Welsh to each other.
I think you had a suicide clutch going there too, didn't you?
Hey, I'm nothing if not a professional when it comes to broadcasting.
I
I hope you guys enjoyed it. That's our play, and yeah, it was a lot of fun. It really was.
The only thing I could maybe say we didn't talk about earlier was the names of the songs and poems that were made, just so we have them.
Why don't you go over that now?
Yeah, I'll just do it real quick. The opening chorus was of Elder Knights. Finrod's Vigil was For Thee We Mourn. Lúthien's spell song to Karkaroth was Woe-Begotten Spirit Fall. Lúthien's song to Morgoth on his throne that put everybody to sleep was The Pools of Oblivion. Lúthien's prayer was Beyond the Sea, and which was Lúthien's resolve to go into Angband. And then her lament to Mandos, "Shall love then die," were the songs and poems for this play.
And you wrote those poems, right?
Yes, ma'am, I did.
Yeah.
Good job.
Matt did such an amazing job of adapting Tolkien's work into a play and making these songs and poems and such. And by the way, just to give out some kudos here, because originally we were all going to just read them as poetry, and Laurel made the executive decision that she was going to sing, which is incredibly brave and wonderful, and it was really very well done.
Thank you.
Very nice. Everyone
I
did a
worked
really
very
nice
hard.
job.
And
I
I
worked
mean,
very hard.
there was some real emotion in the Mandos plea, I felt. It was really good. And Brandon here in the chat saying thanks to Laurel, John, Matt, and Wayne for this wonderful presentation. Michael Legg saying thank you so much. That was beautiful. Deb saying the writing was so good. Moogle agreeing that it was very much fun. So yeah, everybody in the chat just sort of I see the like button going off. I see little hearts popping up over the chat. So just really, let's do our thank yous real quick here. I mean, we can hang out for a while actually, because this has been a very short stream at only 80 minutes right now. But Laurel, go ahead. We're going to put you center stage. You can catch your flowers and thank everybody.
Thank you, everybody. I enjoyed doing this play, and this is my debut on YouTube. So thank you very much for this opportunity, guys.
And we'll definitely have you back at some point, for certain.
I hope so.
Absolutely, 100%. I also wanted to extend a thank you, firstly, to Matt for writing this. For coming up with the idea, for writing this, for being so easy to work with, because I've been involved in this sort of thing before, and some people are not too accepting of notes and changes and things, and Matt is extremely accepting of these sort of things. As a matter of fact, our scripts are all marked up with changes and little notes and everything, and some of those were done just last night. There were changes being made, so yeah, I'm even saying that we have to do, like, at some point, we have to, like, do a second showing, I think.
Oh, that'd be fun.
Yeah. We'll have to, in the group chat, we'll talk about that. And also, big thanks to Wayne. Wayne, who was our lovely voice actor, who I spent 3 hours with him in a booth, having him read out this stuff that, by the way, I never had an electronic copy of the script. I only had the paper copy, so I had to type everything for Wayne and just make some minor edits and then coach him on pronunciations, and he was an absolute consummate professional. There are going to be outtakes we're going to release, and there were so many times where he would read a line and then immediately say, "I can do better," and then do it again. So that's why those clips were so good. Matt, I'm giving it over to you.
Yeah, thank you. Thanks to Laurel and John and Sid. Without this level of scholarship, you can't put this together. It can't be right. It can't even be where people who really know these passages from the actual books can say, that was pretty exactly right on. So it takes a lot of work to get there, and thank you to my colleagues for doing that, and especially thank you to Wayne. Boy, his voice is so great, and what a great insertion that was. It was John's idea to do that, a little bit ago, and it really, really, really came out well. So thank you. Now, I would just also say one other thing. We have a short show tonight, but we could make it a little bit longer if John wants to.
I do.
Which is, okay, so John, this is my idea. In spirit of what we're doing, we could talk about these issues, take questions from the audience about what's going on in this super powerful chapter in the Silmarillion.
Yeah.
And ask and answer questions about the characters, what their powers were, blah blah blah, all those kinds of things. Yeah. So we can fill in, because after plays, how the audience wants to talk to the actors and the producers and everything out in the foyer. We could turn that into this right now if we wanted to, I suppose.
I want to kind of bring Wayne into this if possible. As well. I don't know where he is right now, but I'm going to give him a call and just let him know that we wrapped. And by the way, Deb, also, Matt says the writing was very good.
Thank you,
But
Deb.
yeah, if anybody has any questions about the play or about the production or everything, just fire it off in the chats and or about any of the characters involved, and we will answer you there.
While John's reaching out,
Yeah.
I'll tell him a little story about when I wrote this and send the master copies out to everybody. I put them in the mail. For those of you who think we don't talk to each other besides online, we actually communicate as, I don't know, I wouldn't say pen pals, but we send each other letters, and we seal the letters with wax seals that came from Shire Mint Post, from the different realms of Middle Earth. And when I sent mine out to everybody, the one I stamped the letters with is from Mordor, and it's written in Agrathus, and so it's stamped on there, and they all opened theirs up, and I wrote them all a note in Agrathus, so they had to use a decipher sheet to understand my simple little note to them. So it was all for fun and giggles, and sent this out hard copy, and we've been working on this hard copy now for months. And if you looked at it, you'd probably notice that it's been through several variations, but that's how we actually did this. Was
Wayne.
Not on email. It was all by hard copy.
We just wrapped on the performance. We're live right now. We just wrapped on the performance. Everybody loves. Let me put you on speaker here. Hopefully, you guys will be able to hear him. Everybody loves your work on the all the interstitials and the setups and everything. So we just got done sort of like giving our thanks and our final sort of like thank yous and everything. So if you wanted to do that, since you're sort of the fourth member of the cast here, I wanted to give you the opportunity.
I want to thank everybody who gave me that opportunity, you and Matt and Laurel, and thank all the people that supported me over the years. And whoever's listening, you know who you are.
And if anybody is interested in hiring Wayne professionally, where would they go? How would they contact you?
They would go. Well, it's a rather long. It's a long website. I'd have to probably post that on the Discord. So if you give me a few minutes, I'll probably post that up.
Or you could come into the chat. I mean, on Twitch and put it in there.
I'm actually not at home. I'm eating dinner.
Okay. Well, All right. Well, I could put it in the description because we're going to put this up as a video and everything.
Okay.
But I just wanted to give you the opportunity to address the audience and everything we just wrapped. It was really fun. It went really well. And also, we're going to be, you're going to have to send me your address as well, because I wanted to send you a copy of the book Beren and Lúthien. So that, by the way, everybody, Wayne has never read Beren and Lúthien.
I have not.
So all of that was just him picking up on, he was learning. Let me tell you something. At the end, the very last clip, when it was like Neldoreth, he said it right, exactly right the first time. And I said, "You're starting to understand how this language works, aren't you?" And he said, "Yup."
It took me a little bit, but it was fun though. You got to really put the spit into it.
Yeah. Well, you also send me the raw file for the recording session so that I could cut up some outtakes and do a little video from members as well.
No problem. I'll get that out to you.
Thank you. All right. I'm going to let you get back to dinner.
Thank you, Wayne.
I'll catch y'all later.
Laurel and Matt
Thank you,
say
Wayne.
thank you.
Thank you, Wayne.
You
All right,
bet,
goodbye.
Laurel and Matt. You guys are grand. Keep up the fine work, all three of you, and I'll keep pushing the Council of Tolkien and trying to get you guys some more traffic.
Thank you very much.
Great.
All right.
All right.
Take
Goodbye.
See ya.
I had to give him his moment there, since he was such a big part of this
Well, he
for
deserved
being as
it.
good as it was,
So
And-
you're the maestro here, John. Go ahead and lead us into our next phase when you're ready.
Well, we don't really have anything coming in question-wise and whatnot, so why don't we, you told a little story about, the Shire Mint and the coins and everything.
Mm-hmm.
Why don't we discuss like some of the logistics of making a project like this happen? I have been a nervous wreck this whole like past like month or so.
You get a
So,
lot.
just to give you guys the timeline. Oh, here's a question from Brendan. Was it difficult to play multiple characters, or did you all know how you wanted them to sound? I immediately knew that I wanted to do Thingol and in this sort of like rustic Welsh sort of almost Merlin-esque voice, and that I wanted to do Sauron as like a sort of a Jason Isaacs-esque smarmy sort of voice. It's not difficult for me because I'm used to this sort of thing, and you might have been able to tell that I don't think it was very difficult for Laurel or Matt either. I mean, Matt had a very distinct Namo and Morgoth voices, and Beren is just Matt. I think Matt thinks he's Beren. And then Laurel, she's not playing a lot of roles, but she's playing the biggest role is Lúthien. Lúthien is really the star of the show. But if you noticed, Lúthien was doing a lot with costume changes, little scarves. Could you show those off, Laurel? All the different props you used?
This is the Lúthien scarf because it said that she was dressed in blue and silver. So I picked this. And then when she left Doriath, then we used this little scarf here, which is black, and it kind of has a shimmer to it. I thought I had something else, but I couldn't find it, so that was what I had to work with.
You had that little crown too, right?
Yeah, and this was the green one. It was right here. I'm leaning on it. This one here is Melian's wrap, and then of course we put her crown on because she was the Queen of Doriath. And actually, I found this on Amazon, and I thought it was really pretty.
It's nice, isn't it? Yeah.
I mean, and it wasn't very expensive at all. I mean, I didn't want to spend a lot of money on it, but I wanted to add a little something. And I don't know if John and Matt noticed because they had their heads down. But when Finrod, he lost, his crown went to the ground, then I lifted up this one.
I did see that.
Finrod's crown. And so then gave that to them, and I kind of put it in there right there into the as that part. I wanted a little part of it. And then the other thing I wanted to do was in the section with Finrod and Sauron and Beren, I didn't have a part, so then I just was Melian watching what was happening and reacting to that. So that was something I talked about last night, and we added that last night. So that's my stuff.
Yeah.
I just tried to put a little Bear English accent into my Beren, but I didn't want to make it too English. I wanted it to be kind of a man voice, I guess. But my favorite voice of all of those is probably Morgoth, but there was only one word. But the Mando's parts were fun because, he's just, ancient and old and deliberate in his speak. So that was fun. But we basically just parsed the roles out based on who was in the particular scenes so that we didn't have any unnatural crossover, if you will.
Yeah, we wanted to avoid talking to ourselves too much. I mean, I had the one little brief thing between Mablung and Thingol, but it's okay. Yeah. Mablung only has one line.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it worked. And you notice I gave him sort of a lighter, jauntier, happier sort of feel. And then immediately back to Thingol, who's bringing his very grudging respect for this man.
And then we were Kellegorm and Corfin, our brothers.
Kellegorm's the most fun because he's so nasty and gross. And I was like, oh yeah. I don't know if you noticed it because I don't know if you guys can actually see me, but I kept like looking over at Laurel, like, oh, is that what's going on? Oh, yeah, sure, we'll help you.
Yeah.
Kellegorm's fun.
I'm excited to be able to watch it,
Absolutely, that's
see it, because I'm not getting like a screen with the parts on it. So, and I didn't want to mess with anything because I didn't want to. I mean, I don't want to mess with anything. So I don't know how it looked, but
it looked great. To be honest with you, it did. It really looked great.
I'm excited to see it. So
Um,
y'all are ahead of me.
and I mean, the hardest thing that we had to do was the scheduling, just getting everybody together on certain days and being able to do the table read. When did we do the table read? That was like April, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Something like that.
It was early April, and then we had our first like rehearsal, and then we had our second rehearsal yesterday. And it was not supposed to be yesterday; it was supposed to be this past weekend. But then I wasn't home, so we couldn't do it then. And I was just sort of frantically texting these two, like, could we do it the night before? And it worked out really well, I think.
Well, I know I'd been really busy because my family just got triplets. So
Yeah.
I've been juggling a lot of babies in my lap. When I go up, it's an 8-hour drive, and I go up and I help, and I'm wore out.
I could imagine
Oh.
it. I mean, we've all been through so much, and I mean, like Matt, you had to move, your house burnt down, and I mean, it's there's so much that happened in this past like year and a half or so between the three of us, and Sid, who's not here, he went through a lot with his health and such, and he's feeling a lot better. But it was, kind of a rough go for a while, and that's why he wasn't able to be part of this production. But he's in our hearts, of course. We're thinking about him. He's at home right now, not feeling super well today, but we'll be watching this sometime over the next few days, and hopefully we can get some great feedback from him as well. Moogle says this has been a fun stream. Also, it was so much fun, and also so frustrating to do the thing with Wayne, because we were just going to record it over Discord. And originally he said that he could just go into his booth and just read it out and send me the files, and I said, no, I have to be there, because you have to know how to pronounce all the Elvish stuff.
Yeah.
And he's like, oh, you're right, And
Yeah.
so Discord was having an outage that day.
Oh.
So
So
it wasn't working properly. So we had to do it all over the phone, for 3 hours on the phone, of me typing to him and then him having to read it out. And it's all just really, really, really great.
Oh, interesting.
It was so good. And what's great is that because he had his phone sitting there on speaker as he's in his voice acting booth, because he has a whole professional setup, you can hear me talking to him, and it really does sound like I'm the guy outside the booth speaking into that microphone. It really does sound like that. So the outtakes are going to be really fun, especially, with some of the jokes and everything. And
Got to have more cowbell.
yeah, I've got a fever.
all right, so my very best friend, she got to watch it. She told us a great job, you guys. I enjoyed it. It was fun, and I didn't even know Tolkien. So
there you go. That's wonderful. That's really the greatest thing, is if somebody who doesn't know Tolkien, doesn't know the story, and it's not an easy story, to have enjoyed it. Brandon Noonan says it's to you, Laurel, it added some lovely ambiance to have props and the change of scenery. Well, I guess the scenery, that was me doing that. Enjoyed watching Melian watching.
Well, thank you.
The scenes, when we put this up as a proper video, there will be credits in the description that will tell you the name of the artist that drew each of those scenes for the backgrounds. It was a lot of work to try to figure out how to flip them quickly and accurately and on the right time. And I did flub it up like once, but I quickly recovered there. I think we need a second showing at some point.
Well, you guys set it up. I'll be here. Although I probably won't sing it again.
You did such a wonderful job singing it. There was so much emotion. It sounded like you were really going to cry, that I think it would be massively disappointed if you just read it the second time. If we get to do a second production, which I would like to do.
This moment is a good time to say that to the audience that right now, as I speak, I'm almost done with my first draft of Turin Turambar.
Of Turin Turambar. From the Silmarillion. Because I said to Matt, I was like, can we do the Children of Hurin? And he's like, well, not the whole thing, but the middle part of Turin
There's
Turambar.
a lot to that story.
Oh, my God.
Yeah.
Matt was talking about like how that would make a pretty fantastic opera.
Oh, yeah.
And that I agree.
Yeah.
But I don't think anybody wants to hear me sing opera, though.
I don't know. You'd be
I
surprised, John.
I would be. I would be very surprised.
Some people want to actually listen to you sing opera
That-
for a reason both noble and nefarious.
I know. Oh, that's funny. That's funny. But yeah, and I would have loved to have done more theatrics myself, and you know, stuff like that. Because Laurel was asking me about that. Like, are you going to do anything with, like, you know, props or anything? I said, oh, I would love to, but I have to be hitting the button to play the next sound clip, and I have to make sure that the backgrounds are right and everything. So I feel like that day after the migraine, like, you know, right, that's when I feel like right now, where you've had a migraine for 7 days, and then there's that day where you don't. That's what it feels like right now.
Did you get to go to sleep last night at all?
I actually did. Yes.
There you go. That helped.
I slept surprisingly well last night. And did all of you in the chat? They're on both Twitch and on YouTube. There's that pin post. Did you get a look at the playbill? Matt designed that. I made some very minor edits, but that's really something Matt made there. The playbill, the virtual playbill link on my Google documents. That's really cool. I love. You know what I loved about the playbill is that the font. You chose a very Art Deco style font there, which I'm very fond of, the Art Deco style typography.
The font is called New York Playbill.
Mm-hmm. makes perfect sense. Yeah,
it does. But I was going to say, for those of you who are looking at that, it has the lyrics of Elder
the chorus.
Knights.
Yes.
Yeah, of just the chorus on the very last page of it, so you can see the lyrics on that. Is there a way that the audience can actually? I guess that you can't really get this, can you, until I make all the final edits and we post it. But you know what I could do, John? I think what I'm going to do for the audience is I'm going to send you I'm going to send you what that playbill looks like for the.
Well, like
Elder
I said,
Knights.
it's in the chat. It's in the chat.
All the songs, all the poetry.
Oh, not all. Just what you sent me now.
Just poetry. I'll just send just the poetry to
you. Okay, that would be very cool.
So you can see the actual songs of the
words
of these.
Brenda printed out the playbill and is keeping it as a souvenir.
Yeah. So I'll send those to John, cool. And he can post those so you have the words to the 7, because no one's going to remember unless they pull them up and read them again, kind of.
Or just watch the video and listen.
Well, yeah, that's true. That's true. Yeah.
Yeah.
Please watch the video lots of times.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Please watch it.
Do we have any
many times?
Do we want to move this to each one of us having a mini segment like we do in the normal broadcast of the show?
Why not? We could talk about whatever to do with the play and logistics and stuff like that, and little anecdotes
stuff from or stuff from
just like what we've been working on lately. It's funny because I'll go first here just briefly. I'm not going to time us or anything. I don't have a lot to say, but I just put up the new video. I believe it's episode 155. I didn't put out a new. You guys might have noticed, by the way, I did not put out a new question and answer video for members this week, and the reason is because this is what I've been working on, and I just didn't have it in me to do like a regular video. The regular videos will resume next week, but the one that just came out of members first, actually it was really cool because we had a user, her name, I don't know her real name, but actually has the same initials as you, Laurel, just LC, on YouTube, ask me a question, and it wasn't submitted through Quora or through the YouTube community tab where I get questions from, but just sort of in the comment of a video where I encourage people to leave questions there, but I usually just answer them right there, and really just asked. I don't really think they realized how complex of an issue it was Melian incarnate? And of course the answer is yes, but the whole rationale behind it is extremely complex, and I had to cite, like 6 different books. And that video just went up just yesterday, and it's funny because we're performing this, and the thumbnail that I use for the video is Thingol and Melian So it just happened to be that that's the way it worked out. And I'd gotten a comment from Elsie, who's just like, wow, I just wanted to ask like this quick question, and I wound up being, it wound up being the thumbnail question and a whole featured thing and a pretty long segment. I'm feeling pretty great about that. So, yeah.
Well, it is a very complicated issue because Melian took on an elf woman form when she married Thingol. So she was elf, although she retained all her power as a Maya.
Yeah.
And she was not in any way constrained not to use her power, like Gandalf and Saruman.
All of the wizards, yes.
Because they also were Maya in human form, but they were constrained. They were not to use her power. She was allowed to use whatever she wanted, and she
did.
Yes, she did.
She did the girdle. But
powerful.
what I found through my deep research was actually fascinating. Was that I found some of Tolkien's notes on this sort of thing, and some of it was specifically about Melian. Some of it was not. It was referring to Balrogs, but sort of the same idea. She is the same sort of being as a Balrog. And what he said was really fascinating. Was that the Ainur, whether they're Valar or Maiar, can accidentally become incarnate and become bound to their bodies if they do too many things that are human. And he said if they eat and drink too much, if they sleep too much, they can wind up stuck in their bodies. But he said the biggest thing is procreation.
Right, I remember that.
So from just the act of creating Lúthien, if she was not incarnate already, which I would believe that she was, that would have definitely done it right there.
The question arises: how would she have been treated going back to Valinor?
With honor. He said that even though
but what status is the question? Honor for sure, but
she would have still been a Maya like she was. Absolutely no reduction there. She would have been stuck in that body unless it was killed, which obviously wouldn't happen. But she would have been seen as not diminished in status at all. A few things coming in from chat. So Ryan Campbell here saying, you have no idea of Beren and Lúthien except probably like the Adam and Lilith or Adam and Eve OG love couple, as far as I can tell. I got to learn the tale of them too. They struggled is all I know. Boy, did they struggle, and died and were resurrected. I mean, you can actually, it's in the Silmarillion. You can also get it as a book just like this, Beren and Lúthien. It's a really wonderful romance epic. I know you were coming in sort of towards the end, and this was a very abridged form of Beren and Lúthien. Let's see. CW Train, we'll see you around. Thank you so much. CW Train has said that it was a unique and creative show, and you're ready for 4 more. For 4 more. You hear that, Matt?
What was that?
He's ready for 4 more of these.
4 more of just Beren and Lúthien?
No, I think he wants 4 more plays.
Oh, well, he's going to think again once Turambar is done.
I think that's going to be... what would be fun is...
That'll make a grown man cry.
What could make its own play? The Council of Elrond.
Oh, I agree with that.
Yeah. There's all these flashbacks, so many different characters. That would be really fun to do, I think. That would be a good one.
What would another be a good one?
I think the story of Elrond. He's one of my favorite characters, and Tolkien barely touches him. I mean, it's just all little paragraph here and a paragraph there. But I mean, his life and experience, was so amazing and heartbreaking.
Absolutely, Elrond has such this tragic backstory that. It's interesting because that sometimes there's characters out there that are just sort of like these big jerks, and then you find out why they're big jerks because they had this tragic backstory. And I always say, well, that's not a very good literary reason, because look at Elrond. He was, didn't know his parents, was raised by kidnappers who were homicidal maniacs. His wife was tortured and poisoned and then passed into the West, and he's still like the nicest guy in the world. He turned out okay.
I know, and he kept his sense of humor, and he really, helped anybody and everybody, and he protected and kept the line of Isildur alive.
Yeah.
If it hadn't been for him, the line of Isildur would have faded out.
100%. Yeah, I mean, he was looking after the whole North Kingdom even when there was no king.
I actually wrote my very first fan fiction not too long ago about Elrond.
I did. I saw that. It was very good, by the way.
Oh, thank you.
It was very good.
I sent it to Sid, but I think he got sidetracked and forgot to read it, which I was kind of disappointed. I would have liked his input, but
I'm sure he'll get to it at some point.
But that was, I was inspired by him. I mean, he's always talking about Archive of Our Own and all. And
I really gotta finish mine.
I wish you would, John. I've read everything that you sent me.
I have a little bit more written, but it's just that middle part is kind of difficult. I have the ending all in my head, and the beginning, which is it's the middle part that's a little difficult. But I here, you know what? This is going to keep me accountable. This is going to get me to write it because I'm going to talk about it.
Uh-oh.
I'm going to talk about it here, and people are going to bug me about it, and then that's gonna keep me honest, and I'm going to finish this story. So
one that's got a lot of dialogue that would make a great play. Also, would be Chapter 9, The Flight of the Noldor.
Flight of the Noldor would be good. I think Council of Elrond is like the perfect one to do because it's almost like a 12 Angry Men sort of setting where it's like all in one room, and that's another fantastic play, by the way, 12 Angry Men.
Yeah.
So I wrote a story about the ancestors of a character from. I'm writing a story of the ancestors of a character from The Return of the King. His name is Prince Imrahil. And he had an ancestor whose name was Imrazor the Númenórean. He wasn't actually from Númenor. Of course, he was born in the Third Age. They just called him that. And he was said to have married a Sylvan elf maiden by the name of Mithralos. And they had 2 children, and then she vanished under mysterious circumstances. And I wanted to tell their story in a way that Tolkien didn't tell their romance. It is meant to be a romance. So I am going to finish this one day, I hope.
Romances can be hard.
The romance part is easy. It's just I had them meet and fall in love, and I know how it ends. But the middle part, that's the part that is rough for me. But I'm getting there.
They had 2 kids, right?
They did have 2 kids. Yeah, they had a son and a daughter. It was shortly after the daughter was born that she just vanished, and I want to surmise what actually happened to her. And there's a few characters that are a little familiar, like at the end, Celebrian is going to be in it. That's Elrond's wife.
Oh, that's cool.
But there you go. It's okay. Hey, Ryan, just tomorrow come and I'll have a video of this and you can watch it from the beginning and see everything. But absolutely, the story of Beren and Lúthien is this really amazing love story because it's sort of like Aragorn and Arwen. They're very similar in a lot of ways. Beren is very similar to Aragorn. Arwen is very similar to Lúthien. As a matter of fact, when Aragorn first met Arwen, he called her Tinuviel, which is what Beren called Lúthien. And it's also one of the first stories that Tolkien ever wrote. It was 1917. And he was in hospital. It was World War I, and he had contracted a rather gross disease called trench fever. It's not life-threatening, but he had a really bad case of it. And they allowed his wife to be in there in the hospital with him, Edith Tolkien. And the character of Lúthien is based on her. As a matter of fact, if you go to Oxford and you go to visit the Tolkien's graves, it says Beren and Lúthien on it. Or you could just look up a picture of it. That's a lot easier than traveling all the way to Oxford. But highly recommend the story.
One day I'm going.
Yeah, right? That's a pilgrimage for us. It's like going to the Ark of the Covenant, right?
Almost.
You're going to Oxford. But, yeah. As a matter of fact, why not do a little sort of reading for you guys? I have letters of J.R.R. Tolkien here, and I want to read the letter that he wrote to his children after Edith died, actually, which is obviously one of the last few. I don't know exactly which number it is, so I'm sort of like scanning through. If either of you knows which number it is, just let me know.
I have a great excuse to get my new book out. Just a minute.
Oh, I found it. Never mind. It's letter 340. This is what J.R.R. Tolkien wrote to his son Christopher after Edith passed. I have at last got busy about Mummy's grave. The inscription I should like is Edith Mary Tolkien, 1889 to 1971, Lúthien. Brief and jejune, except for Lúthien, which says for me not more than a multitude of words, for she was, and knew she was, my Lúthien. Say what you feel without reservation about this edition. I began this under the stress of great emotion and regret, and in any case I am afflicted from time to time increasingly with an overwhelming sense of bereavement. I need advice, yet I hope none of my children will feel that the use of this name is a sentimental fancy. It is at any rate not comparable to the quoting of pet names in obituaries. I never called Edith Lúthien, but she was the source of the story that in time became the chief part of the Silmarillion. It was first conceived in a small woodland glade filled with hemlocks at Roos in Yorkshire, where I was for a brief time in command of an outpost at the Humber garrison in 1917, and she was able to live with me for a while. In those days her hair was raven, her skin clear, and her eyes brighter than you have seen them, and she could sing and dance. But the story has gone crooked, and I am left, and I cannot plead before the inexorable Mandos. I will say no more now, but I should like ere long to have a long talk with you. For if, as seems possible, I shall never write any ordered biography, it is against my nature, which expresses itself about things deepest felt in tales and myths. Someone close in heart to me should know something about things that records do not record. The dreadful sufferings of our childhood from which we rescued one another, but could not wholly heal the wounds that later often proved disabling, the sufferings that we endured after our love began, all of which, over and above our personal weaknesses, might help to make pardonable or understandable the lapses and darkness which at times marred our lives, and to explain how these never touched our depths nor dimmed our memories of our youthful love, forever, especially when alone, we still met in the woodland glade and went hand in hand many times to escape the shadow of imminent death before our last parting. I spent yesterday at Hemel Hempstead. A car was sent for me, and I went to the great new grey and white offices and bookstores of Allen and Unwin. To this I paid a kind of official visitation like a minor royalty, and was somehow startled to discover the main business of all the organization of many departments, from accountancy to dispatch, was dealing with my works. I was given a great welcome and very good lunch, and interviewed them from all boardroom downwards. Accountancy told me that the sales of The Hobbit were now rocketing up to hitherto unreached heights. Also a large single order for copies of The Lord of the Rings had come in. When I did not show quite the gratified surprise expected, I was gently told that a single order of 100 copies used to be pleasing, but this one for The Lord of the Rings was for 6,000. Of course, I don't think that they considered that he just lost his wife, and that he might not be so happy-go-lucky at that point in time. But there you go.
It's very touching.
This was letter 340?
340, yes.
Yeah.
That's very touching.
It really is, and the letters are so fascinating because you get in his head a little bit, you know. Yeah, and if you've ever read his last letter, it's so fascinating as to how ordinary it was. It was to his daughter Priscilla, and it was so full of this minutia of, oh, I had lunch and I ate curry and I got this haircut that I like, and that's all it was. And then he died a few days after that. And there was no sadness or dread or anything. It was just another ordinary day where he was writing to his daughter, you know. So there's a lot of things like that. And of course there's a lot of the deeper lore of the legendarium as well, you know. And of course when he died, his kids made sure that it said Beren on his grave. So there you have it.
My favorite part of this chapter is the spell song, "The Pools of Oblivion," in which she demonstrates her power to be able to put everything asleep. The narrator did a good job reading what that was, but the audience should think about and ponder about how powerful that is. I mean,
Mhm.
at this particular point, we're talking about all the Balrogs, all of the people in the court, whatever dragons were there, and
Orcs,
Morgoth
trolls,
himself, orcs,
Balrogs,
trolls,
dragons,
everybody,
Morgoth. Yeah.
yeah, all fell asleep from this
The
song. That's
the only
pretty.
the only thing that wasn't present was Sauron. You know, that he's the only guy they dealt with him already. You know.
He was
Well,
hiding.
Yeah, they dealt with him
well,
already. He already
but
got lumped up by
right.
Lúthien.
Well, right, but even the fact that she had some dominance over him
Yeah.
in what she was able to do, I don't think he would have been able to stay awake either.
Yeah. And one thing that we didn't cover all that well, but is part of the story in the power of Lúthien is not just in magical might and this sort of thing. They're not reincarnations of Arwen and Aragorn are not reincarnations, but they are both descended from them, believe it or not. Because Beren and Lúthien had a son named Dior, and Dior married an elf named what was her name? What was Dior's wife? Was it not Nimroth, and their daughter was named Elwing, who married Earendel, and they had the twin sons Elrond and Elros, and of course Elrond is Arwen's father, and Elros was the first king of Númenor, and about 60 generations after him was Aragorn. But the power of Lúthien is not just in magical might and in beauty and everything, but like she gets Huan. You know, Huan is the one that really beats up Sauron in that scene. But it's Lúthien that she got his loyalty. He switched sides from Celegorm to Lúthien. You know, so there you go.
Another interesting thing is, Arwen and Aragorn are related through all of that.
They're first cousins 60 times removed.
That's it. Yeah, 62 times 62 times removed. Yeah. Yep.
Which is so distant that they're really no more related
sure.
than me and you are, you know.
Not enough to make a nun blush.
Hi, Les Devros Kiss. How's it going? No, certainly not. Oh, by the way, I have a bunch of quizzes going on. I'm gonna see if you guys know this. Are Sam and Rosie related?
They're both stewards?
No. Do they have a familial relationship?
Well, they're hobbits, so probably.
Well, I mean, you go far back enough, anybody is. Interesting thought.
I don't know.
Because you can connect almost any two hobbits to each other, but when I tried to connect Sam and Rosie, what I found was their families were only connected by marriage, and there was a family between them.
Okay.
So in other words, one of Sam's sort of distant cousins had married one of somebody else, and then that person's cousin had married Rosie's grandfather or something like that. So it was
knowing Tolkien, that is not accidental that he made that careful break.
Not at all. Not at all. Of course. I mean, there's a reason that Appendix C is all just the genealogy, which is fascinating stuff, you know.
Yeah. Yeah. Cool.
Because I haven't even looked at normally this week I would have done do you want to do the quiz reviews for this week?
Sure.
Why not?
I
Because
didn't do good on some of them.
Yeah, let's do the quiz reviews because I did not get to do them because I didn't make a new video. But let me bring it up right here. Okay, so this was what? Was this Appendix B? I think it was all Appendix B stuff.
Yeah, I think it was last week was.
Let's see. I gotta find it. Aha. Okay. What's funny is that the last Appendix A question was, what did Aragorn call Arwen when he first met her? And of course the answer there was Tinuviel. Okay, so here's our first of the Appendix B quizzes. And I'm also giving these to Matt and Laurel here. Well, Laurel takes them normally. Which of these is the first event chronicled in the Tales of Years chronology, which starts with the Second Age? Is it the creation of Numenor, Elrond and Elros choosing to be immortal and mortal, respectively, the creation of the Grey Havens, or dwarves mass migrating to Moria?
No Grey Havens.
That's correct. That's correct. 20% got that correct. It was 38% said the creation of Numenor. 33% went for Elrond and Elros, and 8% said the dwarves mass migrating to Moria. All of these things did happen early on, but the very first thing in the Tale of Years Second Age is the creation of the Grey Havens. All right, here's our next one. It is mentioned in Appendix B that the Astari rarely told anyone their true names. A footnote points to a page in the Two Towers. Which character is revealed to know one of the Astari's true name on that page? Is it Faramir, Elrond, Aragorn, or Galadriel?
Faramir.
Yeah, you're right.
Go with,
Yeah, it's Faramir. Faramir,
That's-
because he did say that he knew that Gandalf's name was Aloran.
How the hell is he getting into that scroll room?
No, Gandalf told him his real name. That's what's so fascinating about Faramir. 34% of people got that right. 18% said Elrond, 12% said Aragorn, and 36% said Galadriel. I wanted to make all the wrong answers somewhat plausible, right? No, they are different souls because Ryan, because the souls of mortals they did become mortal and died as mortals, Beren and Lúthien, so they actually pass beyond the world. The elves are the ones that reincarnate. Which character is revealed to be born the same year as Faramir? So in other words, which of these guys is the same age as him? Is it Frodo, Imrahil, Éowyn, or Sam?
I know.
You took the quiz. Let's see what Matt says.
I'm going to say it's Frodo.
It's Sam. Sam is the same age as Faramir.
Okay.
37% of people got that right. 29% said Éowyn, 10% said Imrahil. Imrahil's quite a bit older than either of those characters. And 24% said it was Frodo. When Merry becomes the master of Buckland, what adjective is used to describe him? Is he the magnificent, the marvelous, the majestic, or the magnanimous?
Can you repeat the question again?
Which of those was Merry when he became the master of Buckland?
Oh.
Was he the magnificent, the marvelous, the majestic, or the magnanimous?
I think it was magnanimous.
It was Meriadoc the Magnificent.
Ah.
But 42% got that right, and 42% also said it was an even split between magnificent and magnanimous. 9% for marvelous and 7% for said majestic.
Oh, darn it.
Which
I missed that one.
Yeah. Which of these titles do both Merry and Pippin have? Master, Counselor, Thane, or Keeper?
Which two characters?
Merry and Pippin.
I think they're both Thane. They both become Thane.
Now, only Pippin is the Thane. Merry is the Master, but they're both Counselors of Gondor.
Oh, yes.
Only 14% got that right. 45% said Master, 33% said Thane, 9% said Keeper. Which of these families holds the Red Book of Westmarch after Sam leaves the Grey Havens? So was it the Gardeners, the Gamgees, the Fairbarns, or some block-headed brace-girdles from Hardbottle? Had a little fun with that one.
I want to say the Gamgees.
No. The
Is the Fairbanks.
See, it was the Fairbairns. That is correct. Because Eleanor, he gave it to his daughter Eleanor, and she married Fastred, who his surname was Fairbairns, and so that family wound up with the Red Book. By the way, the Gamgees, they changed their name. They were originally Greenhand, and then it became Gamich, and for a brief period it was Goodchild, and then it was Gamgee, and then it was Gardener. So they changed quite a bit. Okay, well, this is the last one that we're going to review here. Which of these events was not chronicled from the year Shire Reckoning 1541, which is the final entry in the Tale of Years? So is it Aragorn's death, Merry and Pippin's coffins being moved, Gimli and Legolas passing to the west, or Círdan and Celeborn passing to the west? Three of those are mentioned. One is not. Do we know, or
Restate it.
the question or the answers?
No, but everything. The question
Okay.
and the options.
Which of these events was not chronicled from the year Shire Reckoning 1541, which is the final entry in the Tale of Years? Is it Aragorn's death, Merry and Pippin's coffins being moved, Gimli and Legolas passing to the west, or Círdan and Celeborn passing to the west?
Círdan and Celeborn passing to the west.
That's correct. Because that happened later. It was in 1592, and that was and it's not in the Tale of Years. It was in the prologue.
Yeah, why would they be keeping track of anything else we're doing that far out?
Yeah, well, because the thing is that all those other things, Aragorn died, Merry and Pippin had already passed away. They moved the coffins to be next to Aragorn. Yeah. Gimli and Legolas went to the west. That's the last of the Fellowship. So Círdan and Celeborn passing to the west. That's nothing to do with the Fellowship. That's why. Yeah. So yeah. By the way, so Tolkien had a poem called Firiel, also known as The Last Ship. And in it, he stated that a maiden, a mortal maiden named Firiel, saw the last ship that passed to the west.
Anthuriel or Ethereal?
No, Firiel. Firiel. It was a poem called Firiel. It was also sometimes referred to as The Last Ship. And it was this maiden. It's in the Adventures of Tom Bombadil. It was mentioned that there was a maiden named Firiel who saw the last ship that passed from the Grey Havens into the west. And she said that there were 3 elven kings there. Of course, they would have seemed like kings to her. We know that 2 of them would have been Celeborn and Círdan. Who do we think the third one was?
I think you believe it's Thranduil.
Yeah.
Which kind of
I think it would have been I think it would have, because that's the only other character that I think some random woman would have seen as being a king of elves. Because he was a king. He would have been the only one that was a king on that ship.
And he was not young. He was very old.
I mean, he was probably born sometime in the mid-Second Age, so he would have been pretty old, yeah. And we're talking about pretty deep into the Fourth Age at that point.
Yeah, I think it would have been.
Is there anybody else that it could potentially be, or?
Well,
unless it's one of Elrond's sons.
Well, I was going to say it could have been Glorfindel too.
It very well could have been Glorfindel. It very well could have been.
He would have appeared as a king.
He's practically an angel. I mean, he's so glorious.
But he would be the only one that I would say if it wasn't Thranduil, which it might not have been. I mean, Thranduil was well established.
The reason that I like it being Thranduil is because then it's 3 Teleri. It's the 3 types of Teleri there, you know?
Right.
And I really think that's like, you know, especially that Círdan, he always wanted to reunite with Thingol, and then he would have 2 of Thingol's kinsmen with him. You know? So there, it's an idea, you know? We really don't know. Glorfindel's a good alternative, especially since like he's oddly not mentioned in the last chapter of The Lord of the Rings. Like Of all
Right.
people, Gildor's there. You know, this very minor character that Frodo met very early in the book is there, you know?
I kind
about,
of feel like I always
what about
felt like Glorfindel stayed because of Elrose and Eladan. I mean, Elrohir and Eladan, because I feel like he felt a protective calling for
Yeah.
the children of Turgon. So when
Yeah.
Turgon died, you know, he put that onto
Yeah.
Tuor and Idril, and then and so he always seemed to have this desire to protect the descendants of Turgon. So I would think he might have stayed at least until the boys made their final choice.
I think that's really astute, especially considering that his mission was specifically to render aid to Gil-galad. And after Gil-galad died, he stayed in Middle-earth with Elrond.
Yeah.
So it's like, he's like, I'm not done here. And then Elrond passing to the west, he's like, is he saying, I'm still not done here because his sons are here? Until they've either become mortal or they've passed to the west or whatever happens with them, which is one of the great mysteries.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Tolkien never told us.
No.
We're stuck trying to figure it out.
But that's what's so fun about it. That's what's so fun about it.
It makes you wonder, if they made the same choice that their father made and their uncle, one going one way and one going the other way.
Yeah. There's a poetry to that because they are sort of like Elrond and Elros. I always love that their names, El-Adan is elf man. Elrohir is elf knight. You know, so it's very cool, you know.
So I would say Eladan stayed and Elrohir went.
Wasn't Legolas on that same ship?
No, he went with Gimli.
Oh, that's right. And went in 120.
It wasn't the Grey Havens. They went out of the Bay of Belfalos.
Right, that was in FA 120.
Yeah, and it was in the south. It wasn't the he made his own ship. He didn't use Círdan's.
I like the
setup.
idea. I think somehow that in his second incarnation, that Glorfindel has a way to go back on his own somehow.
Oh, of course. I mean, if Legolas can do it, then of course Glorfindel could.
Right, but I'm thinking that it makes sense. It seems more right to me that Thranduil would go back on that ship to go see his son.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think Thranduil, being a kinsman of Thingol, and so is Círdan, and so is Celeborn. So it's sort of like the last threads of the Teleri leaving.
Yeah.
You know, whereas Glorfindel is very different. He's more in common with Galadriel than any of those guys.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
two of them not taking their wives back with them, losing them in Middle Earth.
Well, I mean, Thranduil, we don't know anything about his wife. We have no idea who his wife is, what her name was, whether she was still in Middle Earth or not.
We didn't even get a name.
Yeah, no name, nothing. But Celeborn, like Galadriel, had already sailed to the west, so she was probably.
No, that's not my point. I understand we don't have anything about her,
Yeah.
other than the fact that they don't wed out of wedlock, and there had to have been a wife and mother of Legolas. So.
Oh, of course. Yeah, we just don't know who
That's
she
all
is. She could have been. She could have been there the whole time, and we just were never told.
Well,
You know, who knows, right? But you know that Celebrian and Galadriel were waiting for their husbands in the Undying
Of
Lands.
course.
You know that Galadriel had like one of the greatest marriages because they could just be apart for a few hundred years, and it's just like almost like taking separate vacations. No big deal to them, you know.
Well, that's the military life, You know, my husband was in the military, retired out of the military, and he was gone all the time. And, hey, we'll be having 40 years pretty soon.
Ryan in the chat making the same exact point at the same exact time, also pointing at that Tolkien as a military man would absolutely experience that. Although he was lucky, as we pointed out in that letter that I wrote, that there were periods of time in his military service that his wife was allowed to be there with him, which is pretty fantastic, and that's when he started writing Beren and Lúthien. He started writing The Fall of Gondolin. He'd already started a little bit of the children of Hurin. But but he started
the
big
front
ones.
the front lines in World War One to the shores of Dover are no more than a couple hundred miles,
Yep.
at the most.
Absolutely.
Actually,
yeah.
not even that much. So it's a very compressed amount
Yeah.
of space.
And he wasn't on the front lines for very long. I mean, he was Signal Corps, so he was mostly bored out of his skull, relaying messages and stuff until like he went to the front lines and then immediately got sick.
Yeah.
And then had to be sent to a military hospital for like a few years. He was there.
Fever.
That's when he was really going hard on the fall of Gondolin, the earliest versions of it.
Yeah.
Which you could read in the Book of Lost Tales Part 2, which I have. I have as part of this giant tome right here. As a matter of fact, this also has some of the earliest versions of Beren and Lúthien, because the Lays of Beleriand are in here. Let's put that away though. Ooh. All right, folks. So I think we're gonna wind down here. Mm-hmm. So let's go around the room. We'll start with Laurel. Plug what you got to plug. Promote yourself. Tell people how they can find you, especially Laurel, since this is your first time on the show. So go ahead.
Okay. So I don't have a whole lot to plug. I am on Quora, and questions haven't been so good lately. So sometimes I'll get on there and I'm on there a lot, and then other times I'm not. I have my own Quora site where I usually put out my answers first, and then I put it out to the public. Just trying to get more traffic in my own personal space. It's called Laurel Callahan on Quora, and
it also has your Elvish name in there.
Yeah, it has my Elvish name,
which is right below her, so you don't have to worry about how to spell it. It's been there on the screen the whole time.
Yeah, and I love it that John helped me choose that name, Almariel, and then I picked Nifredel because that's a little white flower. Well, my name is Laurel, which is a little white flower, so that's why I picked Nifredel. So we have, Almariel, Nifredel, and but that is part of my.
Can I tell a quick fun story about when we came up with the Elvish name?
Yes, of course.
Because I had done a thing where I had offered to anybody who wanted me to translate their names into Elvish, into Quenya specifically. And there were some pretty challenging ones. There was a guy, I forget what his actual name was, but when I looked up the etymology of it said admirable, and I was like, oh no. That's Myron. That's Sauron. But I said, how about we'll go with Cinder, and for you could be Maitan. But Laurel asked me to do it, and I said, well, there's a few different ways we could do it, and I think, Almariel is a lady with flowers. And I said, but if you have blonde hair, you could be Galadriel. And she says to me, I've always wanted to be Galadriel. But she wound up choosing Almariel, which I think is the wise choice, because you don't want it to be like a recognizable character's name,
Well, that's for sure.
I mean, I had one guy whose name was Victor, and I said, well, you're Turin. Your Turin is what you are. But I was also doing last name, so it wasn't like Turum Turamba or, anything like that,
Yeah. When I was growing up, I always would play with my cousin, and I would say I was always Galadriel,
Mm-hmm.
and I grew up in the jungle, so down in South America. So, we would do things like walk around with machetes and chop grass, and but I was always Galadriel.
I could see her just she would be swinging a machete, but somehow not cutting anything. The plants would just get out of her way.
Get out of the way.
They'd be like, whoa, lady with a knife, She wouldn't actually cut any tree branches or any grass. They would just bend when they saw her coming with a big blade. Of course, you guys know you can find me right on here. My name is John Sierra, or NecroVMX on Twitch. You can find me on Quora as John Sierra, or just go to the Grey Havens, which also has writing from a lot of other great people, such as Laurel and Matt and Sid. Matt, go ahead.
I am on Quora as well, as Lore Master, and we also have a joint website together as loremaster.com, lore-master.com, that is. And you should come and join and log in, and you'll be able to read a lot of the great articles that are put out by any one of us 9 in our writing consortium that we all are in. John and I and Sid and Laurel, and there's 5 others.
Mhm.
But it's well worth it. And if you like this content, you're going to love the format on Quora. It is much better than any other format out there for these kinds of articles.
Okay. And so we're going to come over to here, and I'm going to go over the schedule, streaming schedule with you folks, and then we're going to end the broadcast. If you're watching on YouTube, the broadcast is going to end, and it will be unavailable afterwards, but just keep an eye out for a few hours later. I'm going to upload it as a video. And the only reason I'm doing that is because I want to be able to put all the proper credits in the description for all of the art that I used for backdrops and such. But if you are watching me on Twitch, we will be raiding out, which means we'll be raiding somebody. Now, for those of you watching me on YouTube, I will be live next week, which is July the 1st, and we're going to be...
No, not
What's
next
that?
week.
What do you mean? What am I?
Next
Oh,
week is
I'm just looking at this all completely wrong, aren't I? Yeah. Today's the
Yes,
4th,
sir.
July the 11th. My glasses are dirty. July the
June.
11th. June the 11th. Wow. Let me clean my glasses. June the 11th. Imagine if next week was July. No. Next week, June the 11th, and I will be reading The Return of the King with you guys. 2 weeks, June the 18th, we'll be playing that Two Towers game off the Game Boy game, where we finished the Aragorn section, which was pretty fascinating, and then we were playing Gandalf, which is also pretty fascinating because he deviates, of course, and I'm really interested to see how they handle, the Balrog battle, specifically what happens afterwards. Are we going to go to the peak of Xirac-Zagil? Are we going to fly on an eagle? How are they going to handle Gandalf the White? So that's going to be interesting to see. And then, of course, in 4 weeks, July, for real this time, the 2nd, we'll be back with the Council of Tolkien. And if you're watching me on Twitch, you guys know I stream every day. Tomorrow, we're going to continue Dragon Quest VII Reimagined. I didn't get to play it for very long last week, which is terrible. It's a new Dragon Quest game, and you guys know what a big Dragon Quest fan I am, and I only got to play it for like an hour, and then I had to leave for the whole weekend. But that we'll be continuing that tomorrow. On Saturday, we will have more of Xenoblade Chronicles. On Sunday, more of Mega Man ZX. On Monday, Street Fighter 6. On Tuesday, Hollow Knight Silk Song. We technically finished that, but we have 2 more endings to get. On Wednesday, Sea of Stars. And of course, Thursday, our Tolkien stream with The Return of the King will be live both here on Twitch and on YouTube. That being said, you pre-ordered the Two Towers in like 2002 when you were 12. Best game. Oh, are you talking about the PlayStation 2 or Xbox? I'm actually playing the Game Boy one, which is a completely different game, and I actually like it more because it's it's still got that fun action combat, but there's more characters to play as, not just Aragorn, Gimli, Legolas, and there's a lot more lore and stuff, and you get to see a lot more locations. It's actually a bigger game, despite being the handheld version, so we get to do things like walk through Moria and look at all the cool runes on the walls and translate them and such, which they turned out to mean gibberish, just like those. Do you remember that coin?
That must have been torture for you.
It was so fun. Do you remember that coin that you sent me with I think it was like with Dragluin or something, and you were like, what does this say? And I'm like,
it was Kelgon, and it was Angband in Angrithus, yeah.
No, but there was a different one with a werewolf or something on it, and you were saying, I'm not sure about the runes. How would you translate this? And I said, that doesn't make a lot of sense to me at all.
Oh, yeah.
That was like 4 years ago. We can't remember everything, but anyway, that being said, let me go ahead and see for the Twitch audience who we're going to go out and raid to today. Let's see who's online, and we could add our numbers to their own, like the muster of Rohan, and we shall ride onwards to death, death, death. I see my friend Zofar is on playing full throttle. That's interesting. I see Ali's playing Undertale. That's more interesting. I think we're going to raid Ali.
Oh, it's Toriel's house.
Oh god, she's at the end. All right, let's raid her. She's also known as, she's Ali Cutie Pie or 314. She's also known as Jim Henson's Nightmare. We're going to go ahead and raid her.
If you have anything you need to get off your chest, please don't hesitate to come. The keys are in the kitchen and the hallway.
She just said to her audience, if there's anything you want to get off your chest, let's tell her we're raiding her to get some things off our chest.
Well, yeah. All this nonsense is indeed on brand for Jim Henson's Nightmare. Because Undertale would kind of freak him out, I think. Especially if he was on one of his benders. Okay, for those of you in the Twitch audience, copy that, paste it as we head into Ali's stream. For those of you in the YouTube audience, we all love you and we'll see you next week.